When restoring and commissioning sports bikes that are 20, 30 or sometimes 40 years old, I'm often having to replace extremely old, dry rotted or hardened street tyres. And most tyre shops will not touch these wheels, or I don't want to risk them getting damaged. So for many years I've done this the hard way, by hand, often cutting tyres off with disc cutters to avoid excess use of the tyre irons that could damage irreplaceable rims, or when fitting new tyres using the good old-fashioned tie wrap and brute force method. But with a long list of projects building up, I decided to splash out on a tyre change system that would still give me the manual control and flexibility, but eliminate all the grunt work. So after a little research, I ended up purchasing the Rabaconda system. In this video, I use the system for the very first time and give some of my thoughts. This is not intended as an instructional video or review, just my first-hand experience that may assist others looking into this or similar systems. So first we unbox the system and assemble it using the instructions. Off the bat, the instructions are clear and precise, and the system components all look to be of high quality. Note that this is the Sport Bike series and is set up for larger wheels. If changing tyres on smaller capacity bikes, you might need to purchase their smaller diameter spindles, as I found out later trying to change tyres on the RS50. For my first attempt with the Rabaconda, I'll be removing the 20-year-old tyres from the 1986 VF1000R recommission project and fitting some nice fresh BT46s. The original tyres are rock hard and almost certainly would have had to have been removed with a disc cutter. Hopefully the Rabaconda can handle this with ease. This is also a tough challenge because the VF1000R Comstar wheels are a nightmare to mount on a tyre change system. The first thing we do is locate the wheel on the machine using the provided spindle. The rim sits comfortably on two plastic blocks that can be adjusted up and down on magnets to match the style and size of wheel. Then the green bead breaker lever simply slots into the upper receiver, and the brake is adjusted to be approximately ½ inch out from the rim. And by pressing down on the lever, I can break the bead. I then simply rotate the wheel, pressing down on the brake as I go. These old tyres don't want to give up easily, but the first bead quickly yields and I then flip the tyre over and repeat the process on the other bead. Now I can fit the duckbill ratchet system as per the instructions and using a tyre lever the bead of the tyre over the duckbill itself. Before I do that, however, I need to lock the wheel in place using the pin provided. However, this interferes with this style of Comstar wheel, so I use the provided strap to tie the lower spoke of the wheel to the support leg. A good tip here is to first coat the bead of the tyre and duckbill with a liberal amount of tyre lube, which is provided with the kit. Without this, the next step is almost impossible. With the bead pulled over the duckbill, I can now insert the green breaker handle into the ratchet system and use this to rotate the duckbill around the rim of the wheel. Note here that the handle can swivel around and hit the rim, so be very careful during this step. There is a plastic protector provided in the kit, but I would have preferred the handle was locked in place. With the tyre partially removed, I can now lube the inside of the remaining bead, and again using the tyre lever, pull this over the duckbill, then repeat the step of rotating the duckbill around the rim of the wheel, making sure the tyre is fully released from the wheel as you do so. With the old tyre removed, I now lube the inside and outside of both beads on the new tyre. Being sure to get the tyre rotation arrow in the correct orientation and the yellow dot aligned with the valve stem, I push the inside bead over the upper rim until it is fully seated on the wheel. You can use the duckbill for this, but I had no problem doing it by hand. Before seating the outside bead, it's important to push the tyre as far back on the rim as possible to leave enough space. Then, using the tyre iron, lever the bead of the tyre over the duckbill onto the rim. It helps here to hold the tyre in place while starting to rotate the duckbill with the ratchet system, as it can easily pop off. One thing you can see here is that as the duckbill pulls the tyre onto the rim, it wants to pop back off on the opposite side. This was a bit of a head scratcher, but then on reading the instructions again, I realised the kit came with a rim clamp that holds the tyre in place until you have rotated the duckbill 360 degrees. Once I did this, the tyre went on easily. For the first time using this system, there was obviously a bit of a learning curve, but for the next set of tyres, it will be smooth sailing. And I should be able to change a tyre in less than 20 minutes without any issues, compared to the manual approach that could be an hour or more depending on how stubborn the tyres would be. Overall, I'm very happy with the Rabaconda system, and it's well suited for classic bikes. More importantly, all of the components that come into contact with the rim are plastic coated, so there is little risk of damaging the rim or chipping paint on your freshly painted wheels. Ideal for the classic motorcycle restorer.